Hi everyone and welcome back to Googie's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name's Alexis and today I'm going to be making Nanny's horrible cakes with choc chips. As I just mentioned, today I want to show you how to make my delicious Nanny's horrible cakes with choc chip cookies. Now the reason these are called Nanny's horrible cakes is simply because my father is slightly facetious. When I was a kid, I remember my grandmother took my dad some cakes and he ate one and he said they were delicious, and he was always really interested in what people had put in their cakes. So he asked her, "What have you put in these? They're really lovely." And she said, "Oh, I can't remember, I just throw anything in." So my dad then thought she was like sweeping up the floor and putting it in, and that's how they were named Nanny's horrible cakes. But I can promise you they are really delicious. I've got all my ingredients ready. I'm making these because it's my birthday tomorrow and I fancy a sweet treat. I've been off sugar for a month and this is my sweet treat and my congratulations. So I'm going to make a few of these for my birthday. And while I was making them, I thought I'd share the recipe with you. So here is how to make Nanny's horrible cakes with choc chips. The first thing I'm going to do is preheat my oven to 200 degrees. So before I do anything else, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to butter my cakes, my cake tins. So these are like little muffin tins. My grandmother always used to do it this way. She never really used to waste money on cupcake cases or anything like that. But if you wanted to use cupcake cases instead, then you could. I'm just doing it the way my grandmother once did, which is just to use a bit of butter or oil if you've got any, or you could use margarine if you wanted to. Yeah, so I'm just using this to oil the base of these muffin tins, and that's that job done. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my dry ingredients together, and in here I have about 200 grams of spelt flour. Now I know spelt flour has gluten in it, but it is low gluten, and I find that my stomach gets on better with spelt flour than it does with ordinary flour, so I'm okay on this. I actually think I have an allergy to Western wheat and not gluten, so yeah, so I like to use spelt flour in my ingredients sometimes. So I'm going to use about 200 grams of spelt flour. If you haven't got spelt flour and you wanted to use something else like wholemeal flour or just a plain flour, then that's fine. And then I've got a teaspoon of baking powder that I'm going to put in, and I'm just going to mix these two together like so. And then I'm going to set this aside. So now I'm going to cream the butter and the sugar together. So I'm going to cream that and I'm going to put that into my bowl. So I've got about 125 grams of vegan butter. If you don't have vegan butter, that's fine. You can use ghee, you can use unsalted butter, you could use a vegan margarine as well. And I have about 50 grams of coconut sugar. If you don't have coconut sugar, you could use brown sugar instead. And now I'm just going to whisk these together. That's all nicely creamed together. And now I have one very ripe banana. In the original recipe, it said 2 very ripe bananas. And I do have 2 very ripe bananas, but I want one for my breakfast tomorrow, so I'm only using one for this recipe. So I'm just going to break the banana up and I'm going to put that in. And I've also got some grated carrot as well. Now this is the part where my grandmother just said I just throw anything in and see what happens. She literally just threw carrot into her cakes one day and saw what happened, and it was really nice and we all really liked it, so she carried on putting She carried on putting carrot into her cakes. So I'm going to put that in as well, and then I'm going to blend these together. Now that's all blended together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract to that as well. And now I'm going to just blend that again quickly, and then I'll add this to the dry ingredients. So I'm just going to blend this again now. So now I'm going to mix the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients together. But before I do, I'm just going to add my choc chips to the dry ingredients like so. So they're all nicely mixed in. That's that done. And then I'm going to add the wet ingredients to this. Now I have some oat milk over there. You can use any type of milk you like. You could use ordinary cow's milk if you wanted to, or you could use almond milk or anything like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix these ingredients together, and the reason I have my oat milk over there is because this can tend to be a bit dry. So I want it to be more like a muffin mix than a dry mix, than a biscuit mix or anything like that. So as you can see, this is slightly dry, and I'm not using an egg for this because these are vegan. I want these to be vegan. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add a little bit of oat milk at a time, just to make sure, just to make the mixture a bit wetter, so it's more like a cake mix basically. Yeah, I'm going to need all of that. So that was about 40 mils of oat milk that went in there, and that's made it lovely and wet now. And I'm going to put this mixture into my cake tins that I greased earlier now. So I've got my muffin tins or cake tins that I greased earlier, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a spoonful of the mix into the muffin tins like so. I do normally use the ice cream scoop to do this. I don't know why I wasn't just then. But I'm just going to put a blob of the mix into each of the holes. So these have been in the oven for about 20 minutes. They did take a good 20 minutes to cook, and what I did was, once they were cooked, I put them onto this cooling rack, and I'm just going to leave them here to cool. And tomorrow I'm going to have one of these for my birthday, I think. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice one open and have it with a little bit of jam. It is so delicious. All you do is just cut it in half lengthways, spread on a bit of jam and maybe a bit of butter as well if you want to, vegan butter if you're vegan. And I'm just going to have one of these as my little birthday cake tomorrow, so I'm really looking forward to that. So that's how you make my grandmother's horrible cakes with choc chips, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye!